to be ready.
We're live. Why don't you just flick the switch? Say hello to everyone.
Hello everyone, and welcome to our fabulous team hangout. I'm Karen, and this is wonderful Wilma.
Hi.
And tonight we are making lentil soup in our wonderful pressure cooker, and rhubarb and raspberry cobbler in our saute pan. And Wilma is going to kick off and we're going to do a bit of a reverse thing tonight, and we're going to do pudding first. So Wilma is going to do our rhubarb and raspberry cobbler first in our saute pan. So I'm going to hand over to wonderful Wilma first.
Thank you very much, Karen. Okay, this is a dead easy recipe for you to do. Hopefully you've all got your recipe sitting there in front of you and you're either cooking along or watching along. This is really nice winter comfort food, so it's a great recipe for you to do just at the moment. If you have people who turn their nose up at rhubarb, they obviously haven't tried it before because it's gorgeous, but if they try to turn their nose up at rhubarb or it's not available or it's out of season, just substitute your rhubarb for a tin of pineapples or a tin of pears or anything along that line that's just readily available at the shop. The great thing about this, like most of our recipes,
Any fruit, really,
yeah,
right?
Yeah. You can just chuck in any fruit. Doesn't have to be raspberries,
Fresh, frozen, canned, whatever. Yep.
whatever you can, whatever's easy for you to lay your hands on,
Yep.
whatever's cheapest, for your hosts to get, if they happen to have some strawberries out the back, put some strawberries in, it doesn't matter.
Yep.
It all tastes fabulous.
Beautiful.
So we're going to start. My lovely assistant Karen has preheated our oven.
Yes, done. Tick.
And we have one rhubarb cut into 3 centimetre lengths.
Yes.
And we are going to pop that in the saute pan.
Tick.
We are going to turn the saute pan on.
Okay, so we've got an induction cooktop here, and we're going to turn that on. There we go. Yep.
And we're going to put in 1 cup of raspberries.
Yep, here we go.
There we go, pop those in.
So again, if raspberries are not around, you can do frozen raspberries, you can do blueberries, you can do strawberries, you can do whatever.
You can mix them all up, and you can buy the berry mixes, I think, now as well, frozen, which are really, really nice. A cup of caster sugar.
Beautiful. And these are, of course, our silicone measuring cups.
I like to actually hand give these out at parties. People like to play with them and pop them in and out. And okay, they're not a big ticket item, but they are, would you like fries with that? Oh, do you remember those fabulous cups? And water, a cup of water.
How much water do we need?
1 cup of water.
1 cup. And of course, if you put in warm water, it'll take less time to heat up in your saute. In Sydney, the water takes longer to come through the pipes.
So, and all we're going to do is just mix all that up on medium heat until it's just boiling, because it is going to go into the oven. So all we're doing is softening the rhubarb, diluting the sugar, and just getting it all happening. And oh, that looks so yum already. Oh, look at this. Yum, yum. So that can really just sit there and do its thing, and you can give it a stir every now and then.
And this is, of course, our spatula, and I always say to everybody, you need more than one of these. These get sold in a set of 3, but this is awesome because it doesn't I recommend to everybody that there are no toolbox Nazis that are going to come to your house and check out what you use in your toolbox products. But wood, plastic and stainless steel will mark your toolbox equipment, your Como. So if you use any of those things in our products, they will scratch them, but they don't impair the use of your Como. However, they won't make them look as pretty as what our Como looks. All of our silicone keeps your Como looking great forever and ever and ever.
Amen.
So that's correct. So you want to have Como, you want to have silicone in your Como always. So this is a great product. It comes in a set of 3, and you want to make sure that you have a spatula like this. Always, always, always. Yes, correct.
So while we're waiting for that to boil, we are going to get one of our fabulous, fabulous bowls. Love these bowls. And we're going to make the cobbler.
Now, why do we love silicone as opposed to tin?
Okay, silicone does not rust.
Yep.
Yahoo! It is so easy to clean. You do not need to have a scourer or any of those sorts of things.
Can it go in the dishwasher?
Water. It goes everywhere.
Yep.
Dishwasher, fridge, freezer, microwave, oven, everywhere but the stove top. This little one will even fit into a pressure cooker, and you can do a steamed Christmas pudding or whatever sort of pudding you like, really, in there. So they go absolutely everywhere. So they're not just mixing bowls. I use them to, melt chocolate, make gravies in the microwave, all those sorts of things in the microwave where you don't want to, pull out a saucepan, melting butter.
Do you know that silicone cools down at 3 times the rate of tin? So we actually put silicone into nursing homes and childcare centres, and because if you put silicone into a microwave, for example, the only place that silicone gets warm is where the food is. So if the food is here, the silicone is not warm up here, so it's much, much safer to use. So silicone is much better than a Pyrex bowl, for example. So when you put Pyrex into the microwaves heat up the Pyrex vessel. When you put silicone into the microwaves only heat up where they can see the food and not the vessel. So it's much, much better it's much, much safer for everybody in the house or in where you're using the vessel.
Absolutely. I love them storage-wise because with silicone you can just do this and squish it somewhere and keep it all stored away. Takes up hardly any space and it pops out to its normal shape.
Oh, and you know the rule? The rule is, as soon as you do something to somebody else's product, you made it.
Yes.
So, go to the supermarket, buy a really nice tub of vanilla ice cream and your favourite block of whatever chocolate or your favourite bag of whatever chocolate. Come home, put the vanilla ice cream in here, soften it a bit, throw in your bag of chocolate of your choice, stir it up like this, put this bowl of the now constructed vanilla and everything else in the freezer, and when it's set, you tip it out like this, and this becomes your very best ice cream cake, and you made it, because whatever you put in here, you made it. Ta-da! And this, on top of this, becomes a wedding cake. Did you know that?
No, I didn't know that.
This, on top of this,
that becomes a ladybird.
This is a ladybird cake. 2 of these together is a soccer ball, all sorts of things. This is a Dolly Varden cake. This is a little Dolly Varden cake. It's
Not
very
a Dolly
unique.
Parton cake.
Not a Dolly Parton cake unless you do
That's
this.
that.
Yes.
It's a Dolly Parton cake.
Anyway, moving right
Moving
along.
right along. We are going to put in our large bowl, what are we going to put in there? We're going to put in 1 cup of self-raising flour and a cup of caster sugar.
Okay. Self-raising flour.
Beautiful. Where's our cup gone?
Right there.
Right over here. There we go. No, it's not. It hasn't. There it is. Magically appeared. So 1 cup. So raising flour.
Yes. What else do you
1
need?
cup of caster sugar and 100 grams of butter.
Caster sugar.
Okay, and this is going to make the cobbler.
And what did you say
Goes
next?
on 100 grams of butter. There's some that we prepared earlier. And this is the bit I have washed my hands earlier, but this is the bit where you actually need to get your fingers in.
Yep.
Because we want to mix the butter with the flour and the sugar so that it just makes a crumbly mix. And you can do that with the spoon, but gee, it takes about 5 times quicker doing it with your hands.
Yes.
So
And it's so much more fun.
Very therapeutic. If you're having a bad day, you can sit there and you can just beat the butter in here.
And if you have children at your party, make sure that they wash their hands.
and get them to do
But
it.
this is so much more fun, and it gets the parents going, oh, you know, I could cook with my kids. This is a cool thing to do.
Very cool thing to do. So, okay, so that's pretty much like breadcrumbs. So now we're going to stir in the vanilla and the milk. So a teaspoon of vanilla essence, very carefully measured.
Yes.
And some milk. And tea towel. Oh, here it is. It's alright, I found it right where it's supposed to be. Gee,
Yes.
funny that. So we're going to give that a stir. And then we are going to fold through the coconut, a cup of desiccated coconut, and 1 cup of almond meal. So again, nice and easy. And if you do have kids, get kids to do this because they feel like they're helping. And very easy for them to do. Now the good thing about this recipe too is that you can make this gluten-free. We get lots and lots of people asking us for gluten-free recipes. People are allergic to all sorts of things. Some people are celiacs. This is so easy. All you need to do is take your self-raising flour and change that up into gluten-free flour. Otherwise, all exactly the same.
Yes.
Same. Nothing else has got gluten in it. So if somebody does ask you for a gluten-free recipe, this is very, very easy to change into a gluten-free recipe. Now we are going to place tablespoons of the mixture evenly over the rhubarb. That's called doing this. So, and this is another reason why I love these bowls, because everything just pours out of them. Can you imagine doing cupcakes with these? You can just go from one cupcake thingy to the other and you're not making a mess.
I was talking to somebody today, and she was thinking about joining the Chef's Toolbox, and she said, "But I'm so not a cook." And I said, "But I'm so not a cook." And she said, "But what do you mean? You make everything look really, really easy." And I said, "I'm so not a cook. I'm a really, really good assembler." This is called assembling food. This is not about cooking. This is about putting food in a pot, and when it comes out, it looks like really good food. And that's what being a really good cook is about. A really good cook is not about standing at the stove and going stir, add, taste, stir, add, taste. A really good cook is about throwing everything in a pot and having it come out at the end and look like really good food. Don't you think? Don't you think?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So if we can throw everything in a pot and use one bowl, one spoon and one pot, don't you think that's way better than having 50 million different dishes and dirtying up a bench than doing, standing at a stove and tasting and adding and having 50 million different dirty dishes?
Yep, because that is all we've used, apart from our spoon measurer.
Yeah, and 1 cup.
Yeah, 1 cup. That's all we've used to make a fabulous dessert. That's now going to go into the oven.
Yes.
For 25 minutes.
Beautiful. So I'm going to put this in the oven.
Yes.
Would you like to open the oven for me? Beautiful. Excellent.
So there's dessert done, and we're going to set our timer for 25 minutes.
Beautiful.
And that's going to sit there and tell us when 25 minutes is up.
Beautiful. Excellent.
So while that's
that's not hard, right? Okay, so while that's cooking, it's important to get desserts on. All right, we are going to do main course. And in here, we're going to use my favourite piece of equipment, which is our pressure cooker. Now, this is a time saver. In here, I do everything because it saves me the most amount of time. So, following along with your recipe. Now, of course, with all of our pieces of equipment, you don't need to grease, oil, flour, butter, do anything. We use oil for flavour, not for stickability. So in here, we're going to add a little bit of oil. Okay. Okay, and in here we are going to throw in some onion. Which I have just diced up. And you always start your pressure cooker on high heat. Okay, so we start your onion and you saute that. And then we're going to throw in some carrot.
a good idea at your cooking parties as well, because you know at the end somebody's going to be washing up. If you're lucky. Sometimes it can be hosts or guests who will hop in and do it for you, but technically you are the person who should be doing the washing up.
Yes.
So it's always good at the beginning when you're setting up to make yourself a sink full of hot soapy water.
Yes.
So that you can just pop in your bowls and bits and pieces. Because often you might need to use them twice.
Yes.
But it saves you a bit of time. They sit there and they soak, and then later on everything's basically ready to wash up. And it just gets you out of there a little bit quicker.
So we're going to add 2 bay leaves. Oh, we're going to try not to throw the bay leaves all over the kitchen. 2 bay leaves, a little bit of thyme. You can use fresh or dried, it doesn't matter. Yeah.
Vegetable stock.
And vegetable stock.
4 cups.
Now, you know that with stock that comes like this, okay, this is really handy dandy to have in your cupboard.
Love it.
And it's a great thing to have in your cupboard. Now we're going to use the whole 1 litre because that happens to be 4 cups. But I tell all of my customers, because some of our recipes only call for 1/3 of a cup or 1/2 a cup, you know, whatever. If they only use that amount, if they only use a little bit, to put the rest of it in one of our muffin trays and freeze it. Because once you open a Tetra pack of stock, it does not keep in the fridge for any longer than 3 to 5 days. Okay, so they need to freeze the rest of it, and lots of people don't realise that. So it's a really good selling point for our muffin trays.
Right. I actually like to freeze it. I'm going to jump it on you here, Karen. I like to freeze it in my 1 cup muffins.
Oh yes?
Because then I know each block is 1 cup.
Oh, yeah, very good.
Which makes it really easy for cooking if you need to use a 1/2 cup or a cup.
Yeah.
You've got them in cup-like little blocks.
So in here we've got the stock, and we're going to add the lentils. So I've got green lentils here.
And we've not pre-soaked these or pre-cooked them or done anything.
No, I have just rinsed them, but I have not cooked them at all. So this is 1.5 cups of green lentils and 1.5 cups of red lentils. Just rinsed and apparently stuck really, really hard.
Now, the only reason I think we've got green lentils and red lentils is for them to look really pretty.
Yeah, use whatever you happen to have.
If you can't get red lentils, or they got brown lentils or yellow lentils or what, just use whatever
you happen to
have.
It doesn't actually
They're all
matter.
the same, they're just different sort of colours.
Yeah.
And we're going to put some potato in there as well.
Yeah, I have some potato, which I have cubed. 1 potato, just cubed. That's going in as well.
Stir well.
It's very complicated.
Very, very complicated.
I love my pressure cooker because you can put anything in here and it works.
Actually, I don't think I've told you, Karen, I actually experimented.
You?
The other day.
You?
I did. I experimented.
Really?
I really did.
Oh
Because my
goodness.
lovely husband said to me, oh, we're going to have minced patties on the barbecue for dinner, and I yes, right, okay. No. And it was one of those nights, one child was coming home from work, one child had to be dropped to work by me, of course, and I had to prepare something for lunches for the next day, so I thought, pressure cooker.
Yes?
Pull out the pressure cooker. What have I got in my cupboard? I pulled out a litre of stock.
Yes. But we know that the pressure cooker works based on the principle of as long as you
As long as
have
you got water in there,
2 cups of liquid, the pressure cooker will work, right?
it's good to go.
Yeah, good.
That's
Okay.
what I thought, so we're going to give it a try. So, litre of stock, I had some frozen veggies, just like mixed veggies that you just happen to have in your freezer.
Yeah.
Whacked in some of those, some chicken legs. I
Right.
had some mushrooms that were thinking about maybe needing to go in the bin in the next day or two.
Yep.
In they went. one of those tins of diced tomatoes.
Oh, yeah.
In that went.
Yep.
Some arborio rice. In that went.
Oh,
And
yeah.
it's sort of like cross between a chicken cacciatore and a risotto.
Okay.
And whacked the lid on 15 minutes, and it was fabulous.
Oh,
I
okay.
did not have a recipe. It was just
You.
I didn't have a recipe. I know.
Okay.
See, but if
Right.
it does not say put pan in oven,
Right.
it's not to do with pan.
That's very odd, Wilma.
But I was really chuffed because it really did work. As long as you've got that liquid in
Yep.
there,
Yep.
you can basically put in anything that you've got in your fridge and your
Anything.
freezer and your cupboard,
And it works.
and it works. Whether it tastes good or not is another thing. This
Did it taste good?
This tasted fabulous.
Oh, hooray. Okay.
So
So we've got in here lentils, potato, onions, and what are those yellow things? Carrots.
carrots.
Yeah. Right. So what do we do now?
Are we going to lock and load him now?
Okay, so take the spoon out. Lock and load. So on your pressure cooker lid, you have an embossed little arrow here, and on the handle, you've got an engraved arrow here. So you line them up together, and you lock. Actually, you load and then you lock. And unlike the customer who rang me today, she went, oh yeah, I forgot to do that.
Yeah.
Lock the lid. Make sure that you're on 2 here, okay? And then your pressure cooker is up on high. Yes, we are. Okay, and then you got to wait for your indicator button to pop up. All right, so we're all good.
All good.
Beautiful.
I mean, that's pretty much dinner done.
It is.
Really, seriously, that's dinner done.
Yep.
How easy is that?
That was not hard.
That was not hard.
This is what I say to everybody. You do not have to be a master chef to be able to cook with the chef's toolbox. You have to be an assembler.
Yes,
I am not a cook.
me neither.
I'm actually getting to be a really good assembler because this is called chuck in a pot, put the lid on, remember to lock.
Lock. I know. I can promise you, you can stand there for half an hour waiting for that pressure cooker to come to pressure if you do not lock the lid.
It will never
I
ever
tried.
come to pressure if you forget to lock. I had a customer tonight who rang me and she went, Karen, my pressure cooker indicator button has not popped up. Have you locked the lid? I'm sure I have.
Check
Okay,
it.
let's just go through everything. And then there was a fair few swear words and she went, oh, I need to go now. Okay, that's all right. Just call me back later. Yeah, she hadn't locked the lid. So that's okay. Just remember that you need to lock the lid, or it's just a really fancy smancy saucepan with a really cool lid, because if you don't lock the lid, it can never ever come to pressure. So,
I know, I tried it. I tried that out. I thought I'd try it out and see how it went.
oh, you
And
were just doing an experiment?
I was, right. It was an experiment, and they're right.
Yeah.
Won't come to pressure.
So just lock the lid, and then your pressure cooker indicator button, and don't say that after you've had too many wines.
I thought I would. Depending on who's in the room.
Yeah,
of
that's
course.
okay. You can only do that with so many.
With certain people.
Yeah. And then your indicator button will pop up, and then you'll be good. So he's coming up to the horizon now. When he pops up, then we time him. And how long are we going to time
We're
him
going to
for?
time him for, here we go. 15 minutes we're going to time him for.
Beautiful. And how long's that cobbler got to go?
That cobbler has got 12 minutes and 56 seconds to go.
Beautiful.
So we might have to do a song and dance tonight.
Oh, okay. So, Wilma, what would you like to tell everybody about the specials that are on for the
All
month?
right. We have got, it's birthday month, August. It's our birthday, and there are not zillions and zillions, but some fabulous specials, more specials than we would normally have in any other month. So if you're new, do not think that August is what we normally do.
No, please.
Please don't, because it's not. It's the month of the year to party with us.
Yes.
So if you're partying with people, you want to book them into August, or get their bookings into August, because this is where all our
Can I just
specials are.
interrupt? I have lots of phone calls when people's pressure cookers are doing this.
Doing this, yes.
Right. So when there's steam coming, so you can see his little button has popped out now. So now is when we turn him down and we time him for how long, Wilma?
15 minutes.
Okay.
So while Karen's playing with her microwave, my absolute favourite special is this one, which is our square roaster. The square roaster comes in this special with our timer, and you can save over $90 as opposed to buying them individually. So here's $249. Yep, memory serves correct. The square roaster is the big brother of the saute pan.
Yep.
And seriously, all it really is a square saute pan.
Correct.
And it's bigger. So everything that you can do with the saute pan, you can do bigger and better in the square roaster. So if you've got a bigger family, you can do, instead of doing the pizza in the saute pan, you can do a pizza in this. Works exactly the same. It's just bigger and it's square. I love it because I can fit 2 size 25 chickens in here. So instead of just roasting one chicken, I will always do 2. One for dinner that night, and the other one is for school lunches, or I'm going to use that for dinner the following night. So you're making 2 meals at the same time. You can do roasts in this, you can do your lasagnas, your potato bakes.
Lots of double chocolate fudge brownies.
Oh, I never thought of that. You can. So, of course, as I said, anything that you can do in the saute pan, you can do bigger and better in the square roaster. So what I've actually recommended to some customers who actually think about getting 2 saute pans is don't get 2 saute pans, get a saute pan and a square roaster. Because that way, when it comes to birthdays, anniversaries, Christmas, that sort of thing, when you do need that extra cooking space, you've got your square roaster sitting there. But again, because you can do exactly the same things, you're better having the 2 different pans than just 2 saute pans. Sitting in here, we have got our silicone roasting rack, which is a very, very nice little accompaniment. Would you like fries with that? For the square roaster, because it fits in. I'm not sure if you can see this or not. It fits in like that. So you can actually pop your meat on top of the roasting rack so all the juices can drip out. And you've still got some room to put some veggies and things in here as well to cook in the meat juices. And because this is silicone, of course, it's not going to rust or peel or do any of those nasty things and can stand.
But it's strong enough to hold a massive piece of meat. So at Christmas time, I put on there a massive piece of turkey and took the whole thing outside and put it on my barbecue. So don't forget that all of our Como can go gas, electric, ceramic, induction into the oven, but it can also go on your barbecue. So I put that out on my barbecue and used this because this is not only a timer, but it's also a digital probe. So this little guy, think of my hand as a piece of meat. This goes in your meat, and then you time this where it currently says off. You program this to the time that the temperature that your meat should be cooked at, and then this, because it's stainless steel, goes inside your oven or inside your barbecue, and then you can time what your meat should be, or set the temperature of what your meat should be cooked at. And then when you open either your barbecue or your oven, your meat doesn't have to look like it's had acupuncture. and you don't have to open and close your oven door or open and close your barbecue to see if your meat is already cooked, because stays in your meat and your meat is already perfectly timed here. So for example, if you want your butt of beef cooked at medium rare, you program this at 70 degrees. And when your meat is perfectly cooked at 70 degrees, this will beep and you don't have to keep opening and closing your oven door, and your meat will be perfectly cooked at 70 degrees without you having to open and close your oven door. This is stainless steel. It's never going to melt. It doesn't impair the oven closing at all because it's stainless steel and it molds around the seals, thank you very much, of your oven door. So it's perfect and it can go in your oven and in your barbecue. I only have one tip, and this comes from a customer of mine. Please do not attach this to the barbecue hood. Okay, see how this is magnetic? Yes, it sticks to things that are magnetic.
It will.
Right? But just because your barbecue hood is magnetic does not mean that you should stick this to your barbecue hood.
Just because you can doesn't mean
because this is magnetic, this is plastic. It'll come out looking something like this. Don't do it. All right, it's back. Okay, not good. Sit it on the wings of your barbecue. This is a fabulous tip from one of my fabulous customers. All right. Everywhere else, you can stick it on your fridge like this, or on your oven like this. Okay, and it will be fine, and then you can poke the whole rest of it inside your oven. Okay, but not on your barbecue hood. It will not be well after that, and don't be ringing me to say, Karen, can I put in a warranty claim? No. Okay, very good.
And all those temperatures that Karen was telling you about your medium rare beef and whatever, comes with the instructions. So you don't actually have to remember that. Just tell your customers it all comes with the instructions with this, so you know what all the temperature ranges for rare, medium, well done, turkey.
And it's also on our fabulous scales.
Is it?
It is.
I didn't know that.
It's on our fabulous scales.
Oh my goodness, and where are they? Having a holiday
Yeah,
today?
so
that's all right.
They need to be on our scales, but they are actually on the front of our scales.
I didn't know that.
Yes.
I'll remember that from there on. You learn something.
Come to team meeting, you learn everything.
You do.
There you go.
So,
and what else is on special?
What else is on special? Our chopping board. I have been selling lots and lots of chopping boards.
Yes.
A, because it's an awesome chopping board. It's made from end grain acacia wood. Look at that.
Yes.
End grain acacia wood.
Why is that a good thing?
That is a good thing because all the I never know what the words are to say, but all the manky stuff doesn't go into the wood and stay there and then putrefy and get germy and horrible and all the rest of it.
Yep.
Also, end grain wood does not kill your knives, which certainly glass chopping boards will do. And what I like to do with mine is, this is my chopping side.
Yes.
The side that says Chef's Toolbox.
Yes.
There we go, you've got Chef's Toolbox. That's my chopping side. I turn it upside down, and this is my fruit platter or my cheese platter side.
Presentation side.
Oh.
And it looks fabulous. You put this out on a table with a selection of cheese and crackers and fruit. It looks amazing. So it's also a great serving tray. If you've got to go from here to the barbecue with half a dozen cups of tea or glasses of wine, you can have wine now, can't you?
I know, dry July is over.
July. So you can get, Karen's booze on here and take it outside for her.
Wine.
So it's a really great chopping board. But this month you also get your knife sharpener for free with the chopping board.
Yes.
So people are getting a 2-for-1. This is normally $49.
Yes.
So you're getting a $49 product for free when you buy a $75 product. Love our knife sharpener because unlike most knife sharpeners, ours has 3 little slots and they've got numbers next to it that go 1, 2, 3. So if your knife is incredibly blunt, you start at number 1 and just here, I'll do a demonstration. There we go. We'll get the cook's knife and just pop it in. You do not have to put on a lot of pressure. You just need to draw it through a few times and then move it on to number 2. Now if it's not incredibly blunt, it just needs to sharpen, start at 2. And then you just move it on to number 3, the last one, which is just going to polish it and take off any little burrs. And then you've got a beautiful sharp knife, which you should then go and wash, because when you sharpen a knife, you actually do take a bit of the steel off the edge. So you should now go and wash that. And dry it before you use it. So, and give people the opportunity to use this at your parties, and they will find out how easy that is to use. So that's a fabulous special.
Yes.
We have a silicone special as well, where you can get 10 pieces of silicone for $99, which is a saving of about $104 from memory.
It is, yes.
So you get our 12, well I call it our 12 cup muffin, but it's the cupcake one where you put 12 cupcakes in, the mini muffin, the macaron set, the loaf pan, and the tartlets, the set of tartlets for $99, normally over $200, so it's less than half price. So what have we just beat that? And our very last special is really amazing. If anybody spends $100 at a party in August, they will get a $25 voucher emailed to them. Now there's a few things you need to know about that $25 voucher. We did some research earlier on this month.
Wilma did some research.
So the voucher will be emailed out to people. So what you need to make sure when you're taking their orders, and if they come up with a $99 order, like they did at my party the other week, and I said, well not the other week, the other day, she ordered something, I can't remember what it was. I said, you do know if you buy something else, you're going to get another $25 voucher. So she immediately bought something else, which means if you can do that, even with a $75 order, i.e. this, just remind your hosts. Do you remember if you spend $100 you can get a $25 voucher to spend on whatever you like? It's their decision then if they want to up their order, but it's a great way of getting just a few additional things, and before you know it, your party is $100 higher than it would have been before.
Yes.
So $25 voucher, check that you have an email address for that person, because it cannot get emailed to them if you don't have an email address.
And it cannot be the same email address as a current customer.
Exactly.
Because I had a lady who said, well, just put my email address as the host's.
No, can't do that.
It doesn't work. It has to be a different email address.
So, yes, their work address, hubby's email address.
Facebook has an email address. So, yes.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So some people have Facebook accounts, and all Facebook have an email address. So get them to use their Facebook email address.
So the other important thing that I found is make sure you can read what they have written down.
Oh, yes.
Because how many times have I gone to plug in my orders and I can't actually read their writing. And if you do not put in a valid email address, they will not get emailed their voucher. And if they don't get emailed their voucher, you cannot ring up TCT after the fact and say, please send out another voucher, because it won't happen.
No, they come from the category of too bad.
Too bad, so sad, you missed out. That's in your terms and conditions. Read them. They get sent the vouchers after the 12th of September, and they can be redeemed between the 12th and the 30th of September. So, because that's a little while away, what I've done is I've made up a little voucher, or it's not a voucher, it's a reminder slip that I give to my customers that says, congratulations, you have qualified for a $25 voucher. It will be emailed to the email address you've provided me. You can redeem it at my stores, my website address, to make sure they come to my website and they don't go to Karen's website, because Karen won't ring me and tell them, no, go over to Wilma's, she'll keep them. So I make sure they go to my website. I tell them the dates and the date it's redeemable, so they can take that piece of paper and put it in their diary, put it on their fridge, whatever. Because if they ring me on the 2nd of October and say, Wilma, I have not received my voucher yet, or I've just got my voucher, it doesn't work, so sad, too bad, you lost. Yeah, because it's between the 12th and the 30th of September only that they can redeem it. So very important, good little thing to have as a reminder, to give them that little slip. You know, you can lead a horse to water, you can't make them drink it, but that just helps them to have some sort of tangible thing to remind them. Yeah. I do have some customers who have already stuck that in their diary. Yeah. They will be called blue.
I've handed that out at parties and said, stick this on your fridge. It's not real. It's not actually a real voucher. But stick it on your fridge. It's to remind you, because if you don't redeem this by the 30th of September, you are a loser. And they go, oh, okay. All right, so that was our timer for our lentil soup. So when your timer goes off for your pressure cooker, turn it off. You can just leave it sit on the stove and it will come down to pressure. See how his pressure cooker indicator button is up? You can just leave it sit and he will come down off pressure all by himself. Can you just hit that, please?
Why is the button on the way? Because it's up.
Or you can put it in the sink and run cold water over here, and you'll see the water boil on the top, that will release the pressure. Or you can do this. This is not hot, warm, but it's not hot. Okay, and that releases the pressure. The only time you can unlock the lid is when the button drops down. This is the #1 safety feature on your pressure cooker. And tell everyone. Now is the only time that you can actually smell it. It's really, really good. So I say to everybody, come and feel this. It's warm, but it's not hot. And you'll see once the steam goes away, this will drop down. 3, 2, 1. Oh, beautiful, right? Once this goes, this will go. There you go. So only now can you do this and do this and take the lid off. And only now
oh, yum.
And then I think it says.
Smells so good.
Does it say stir through your parmesan cheese?
Remove the bay leaves and thyme stems, add salt and pepper, and top with grated parmesan if desired.
Okay.
Oh, it goes over the top when you serve it.
Yeah.
So the good thing about that is if everybody in your family loves palmy cheese, put it in now.
No, it's over the top.
If they
You
don't,
serve it with it over the top.
you can pop it on the top for serving, especially if you want to make it look really, really impressive when you're having people over.
This is more like a meal than a soup.
Oh, that looks good.
Wilma, I'm so glad you came.
Can't be for me.
No,
No, don't
in
do
the top
that.
drawer.
She only ever has me over to taste test the food.
Yeah, exactly. And the technical advisor sitting in the front row.
Well, he needs to be paid.
This is how he gets paid.
Very hot.
It shouldn't be hot, just came out of the pressure cooker.
Thank you.
Oh, that is really, really tasty.
Is it good?
It is really good.
So this is like,
I've never had this before.
I have, yeah.
This is really, really tasty, and I think
This
that
is like
if
a
you-
meal.
this is a meal, and I think if you have kids who don't eat veggies,
Yeah.
I think if you just tell them there's meat in this, they would believe you. No, seriously, because it's really tasty. It's not got that bland sort of taste that you often get with, you know, just a vegetable base. It's really tasty. And of course, if your guests have people who are vegetarians,
So the good thing about this, you just took the words out of my mouth, is this is vegetarian and gluten-free. So, and if you didn't put the parmesan cheese on the top, this would also be vegan.
it would too.
Yeah. So yours is vegan, Lee's is not. But, yeah, so we, if I just have a quick look at the recipe.
Spreading this out so it'll cool out a bit
Yeah.
quicker so I can eat it faster.
Yeah, so gluten and vegetarian. So
Good.
it's a good recipe.
It's a very good recipe. Very
And
healthy.
very, very healthy. And I would not call that a soup. I would call that a meal because
Like a
it's not
stew.
very liquidy.
Probably put more in.
So, and if you wanted to, you could actually serve that as a side to a meat meal.
Yes, you could.
If you're wanting to do something like that.
Well, it actually says, the chef's tip says, for a ham and lentil soup alternative, add a ham hock to the beginning of the cooking.
Oh.
Remove at the end of the cooking time and shred the ham off the bone with a fork.
Oh, yeah.
That would
And
be
add shredded
fabulous.
ham to the soup. And that would be like your old traditional pan ham soup.
That would be fabulous.
But lentils are extraordinarily good for you. People don't eat enough lentils.
Lots of fibre.
So lentils
I think
are...
one of the reasons why is that every time I see recipes with lentils, you have to muck about so much. You have to soak them overnight. And you've
Well,
got to
this
do
was
this
no mucking about at all.
and all that silly stuff, which I just go, I'm not that organised, and I don't have that sort of time, and not doing it.
There was no
And
mucking
there was
about.
none of that. It
No.
was just stick it in the pot and off you go.
I took them out of the packet, I rinsed them and threw them in the pot. And I don't even know why I actually had to rinse them, but I did it because the recipe told me to. But I guess that you wouldn't even have to do that, really.
Oh, this is yum.
So that was 10 minutes prep, 15 minutes to cook it.
Yeah.
So that's a very quick recipe.
And you can substitute different vegetables in this depending on what you've got.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, sitting in your fridge. If you've got, what I love about my pressure cooker is that if I've got veggies in there that are starting to look a little bit like they're starting to go a bit, how's your father? You can put them together in the
Broccoli
pressure cooker
stems
and
in
cook them
there,
up.
and that would be awesome. Awesome.
Celery.
Veggies aren't cheap anymore. They used to be cheap as chips.
No.
They're not anymore, and I really like to get my value out of them.
Broccoli stems in there, mushrooms in there would be really, really good.
Bacon instead of a hock.
Yeah, bacon instead of
That'd
a
be
hot.
nice.
That would be really good.
That is smoky flavour.
But I think that that's a really good recipe.
This is really nice. You wouldn't know that there's not meat in this.
No.
Seriously, you wouldn't.
Spuds are good. They just mush apart in your mouth.
And sweet potato in there, I reckon, would be
Oh,
really
yeah.
good.
Yep,
Sweet potato instead of the carrots, I think that would be
that
really
would be
good.
lovely.
So all in all, and that's a really cheap recipe. The lentils today for a packet cost me $1 for the packet.
Right.
So the lentils were not expensive.
$1 for spuds.
Well, it was one potato.
Oh, exactly.
So it was one potato, 2 carrots, but really you could put whatever you wanted in there.
Yep, just whatever you've got in your fridge.
So it's about $4 worth of ingredients.
And that,
And how many people do you reckon you could feed with that, Karen?
well, if you
Oh,
have a
my
look
goodness.
at what's left,
Oh,
that's the recipe.
6 or 8 bowls.
There's a lot of food in there.
So you could feed, you know, certainly feed your average family that meal for probably $5 or $6. What it's cost you to make, maybe?
If that.
If that.
You can feed your family with that.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that
Very
if I
economical.
didn't tell my children there were lentils in there, they would eat that. Because they don't know what lentils are. That would be the only reason.
Yep.
But yes. But that's really good, I think.
So, and our rhubarb and raspberry cobbler
Yes.
is done.
So this is super easy because everything comes away from the edge of your saute pan. And you can just see, look, everything just comes away
moving
from
around.
the edge.
So you can be posh and dust this with icing sugar you like, or if you had apples in this, I think some cinnamon sugar on top would be awesome. You can serve it with cream, ice cream, custard, all of the above, none of the above. You know, whatever you happen to have or whatever you happen to prefer. So there's lots and lots of ways to serve it. And remember, you can use whatever fruit just happens to be available in your cupboard. So you can actually change it around quite a lot. You can have this 3 different ways, you know, during the week and nobody would get sick of it.
And rhubarb is a fruit that we should eat more of.
It's an old-fashioned fruit.
It really is an old-fashioned fruit, and it's cheap as chips.
And it's very, very healthy for you, like all fruits are.
It really is, and I bought a whole bunch of rhubarb today for $2. It's cheap as anything, and you know, we
not bad, is
really
it?
should eat more.
I love this. This is one of my favourite recipes. Really,
Nice and tart.
Really yum. Just got a nice little tart zing at the end.
Do you know, it's something that your Nana would have served you. And we should eat more things that Nana would have served us.
Absolutely. This is winter comfort food.
Yes. Do you know what would be good on that? Slivered almonds.
Well,
That would be really, really nice. Actually, I'll put that aside. I should
Are they
check my
recording?
lentils first.
do you want some more?
So,
Will likes it.
Oh, what is that?
See how much butter I've got.
Well, I'll save this for afterwards. Yeah, it's hot. I'll save this for the end. Keep talking.
So I think we're still on camera.
Yes, we are.
So, any questions, anything else that you need to say, Wilma?
I don't think so. I think that's it.
I think we're done.
I think we are.
I think that that's all good. So if you have any questions, feel free to email us. You know my email address, so feel free to email me. But I look forward to hearing from all of you, and we will tune in same time next month. Thank you very much for tuning in tonight. I hope that you've had fun. I hope you've enjoyed our recipes, and we will look forward to seeing you all again at the same time next month. Thank you very much to Wilma for coming along, and I look forward to seeing all of your smiling dolls next month. Bye for now.
Bye.
Bye.